channel. It's the girl Lyssy, and have you guys ever seen a horrifying toy like this? Or like this? Or perhaps this? Well, if you haven't, welcome to my channel. We cover a lot of weird toys on this channel and a lot of weird, nostalgic, scary, haunted, and cursed things. And today, the tea is hot because we're going to be looking at some of the most cursed toys that I hope you guys never ever own. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button to join the family because I don't want you lovely people to miss out on my weekly videos. And if you guys like weird stuff, be sure to subscribe because you guys won't be disappointed. Anyways, guys, today we're going to be talking about a bunch of Mattel toys that honestly freak me out. And just weird toys in general that just freak me out. I'm sure all of us growing up as kids had a phase where we had certain toys we played with. And I've talked a lot about toys that I used to collect as kids that weren't as cursed, you know, such as Webkins and Little's Pet Shops. But I did have a few toys that were a little special in the mix, such as Furbies and other problematic toys. But Mattel, being the creator of Barbie, you think she would come out with a bunch of really fantastic toys since she was one of the top toy creators, but she herself has invented some toys that were just kind of like, what were they thinking when they made them? And I was lucky enough the other day to stumble across one of them. Behold, my new pet parrot! Yes, this is one of Mattel's cursed creations. Actually a really old toy that I just wanted to cover in the beginning of this video before I talk about the rest of the cursed toys, so just stay patient, stay tuned. This one is called Quackers the parrot. He's a part of the Yackers collection, and the commercial from this toy is so freaking old.
Hi there, I'm Crackers. New animal Yackers. Crackers wants a cracker?
So the whole point of Yackers was they just yak and yak and yak, you know, like the toys that just keep talking. They drive you nuts, you know, they're the kind of toys that you want your kids to throw away. These ones were programmed by string because back in the days, a lot of toys, you know, they didn't have batteries or didn't have different outlets and technology to make the toys advance back then, so they would have a string pull to make them talk. And this freaking parrot that I found at a thrift store still talks in mint condition, and they're really hard to get your hands on. So Yackers the parrot says like one of like 4 to 5 different lines that he's programmed to say, but he has had some scary stories about him along with the other Yackers animals on the internet. I believe there's a lion, a monkey, a dog, and a few other Yackers that were programmed to say a few lines and also had a string pull on them. So this guy says things like,
My grandfather was an eagle.
what does that even mean? My grandfather was an eagle. How are you a parrot? How does the intercourse work? And never mind. It also says things like, feed the birdie. I don't really know what he was trying to teach the kids.
Hi there, I'm Crackers. I'm your pal.
I'm your pal to the end.
If you want music, get a canary.
I don't know. Quackers is a pretty interesting parrot. Does it say anything else?
My grandfather was an eagle.
Is that all he's got? So it just randomly kind of fluctuates with different lines, you know, you pull the string and each time you never know what Quackers the parrot will say, and that's where things get creepy. A few people said that they had given these Quacker animals to their kids as presents because they were popular back in the days, and parents claimed that the tapes had been altered with, or some of the Quackers animals tapes had been altered with, and they were saying lines that they weren't supposed to say, such as, I can see you, ha ha ha, where the animal laughs in a weird creepy way, or the lion roars like roar roar, I bet I'm gonna eat you up tonight, and just creepy stuff like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't think mine says anything weird or has anything on its tape that it's not supposed to say. Here, kitty, kitty. I don't even think I've heard it say that. Okay, well, there is a chance that he could say some things that he's not supposed to. The more you pull his cord, you just never know what they're gonna say, because these ones, you know, they're old. It's kind of creepy. Speaking of old and annoying toys, I also found this one that I want to talk about before we get into the rest of the toys, and this one is called Talking Toucan. It's one of those toys that repeats what you say, kind of like a Talking Tom situation. It says, talk to me and I can repeat what you say. It's supposed to be super annoying, and a lot of people have had problems with toys like this where batteries die out and they don't repeat what they wanted them to. They say things they're not supposed to. So of course, out of curiosity, I had to buy it to compare it to Quackers, because this is like a newer version, you know, of Quackers, essentially. He has batteries, he can say anything, he's not just a pull string toy. So I figured let's test him out to see how fantastic he might be. Moment of truth. This will get annoying really fast. I don't know how long he can repeat. Like, if I kept talking like this, I feel like he'll just shut up. But this will get annoying really fast. I don't know how long he can. This thing is gonna actually curse me in my sleep, okay? There's been so many problems with toys like this that repeat what you say, and parents and kids even claim to say, my bird said he's watching me, or this or that, or, you know, my bird said something it's not supposed to. It said a curse word. How? These are supposed to literally just repeat what we say. I don't even know who made this toy or what brand it is, but it is straight up just annoying, but you can do some silly stuff with it. So along with all the cursed Mattel toys, there's one toy in specific that I feel like we haven't really talked about, and I want to talk about this toy because it's so weird, and that toy is called Fidget Friends.
Before you get started, ask your mom or dad to help you remove your fidget friend from her packaging.
Hey, what's up?
So Fidget Friends are a toy line directed towards girls. Yes, only towards girls. They said that boys couldn't have these for some reason, which didn't make any sense because a boy can play with any toy that he wants. Created by Mattel and their Girl Tech line. They made their great debut in July of 2011 at the New York Toy Fair, and they were similar to Furby toys, which we all know. They are soft, jelly-like dancing robots with animated faces on a screen and with a curly or leaf-like ear. They almost remind me of a robotic Teletubby in a way. Tell me if y'all see the resemblance or not, or if I'm just crazy. I feel like they kind of look like cuter versions of Teletubbies that are like little aliens or robots. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. They even created newbies, which were smaller pets that the Fidget Friends owned and interacted with.
And smaller! Now here's Fidget Newbies, little singing Fidget Friends. You can put them together for a duet. Newbies even interact with Fidget Friends.
As you guys can see in the commercials. So these toys were just super weird to me. I don't really know what the whole point is, why they were only marketed towards girls, why they had Furby-like features, and that's where they became a problem. Apparently somebody said that their Fidget Friend actually lit up on a face that it wasn't supposed to, saying a bad word across the screen of the face, which is not supposed to even happen, or the eyes would animate meanly. And some people said their Fidget Friends would light up and start dancing in the middle of the night because they were supposed to dance, you know, and move around, but they would do it kind of like how Furbies would go off with no batteries. Same thing with Fidget Friends. There was all sorts of different Fidget Friends in a series that were voiced, and since 2016 it seems like the whole line of these products have actually been fully discontinued because they ended up getting annoying to parents, which I could see why they were.
Fidget Friends, your dancy, squishy best friends.
I love to dance, love to dance.
But they eventually released that new line of Fidget Newbies and Fidget Yippets and Shimmies, and Fidget Friends with newbies interacted with each other, and Yippies could learn their own tricks, I guess, and make a similar yap or bark sound to a small dog, which would get annoying really quick, so I don't know what the point of that was. So in conclusion, I think these things were kind of just unsettling to look at, and I don't really understand the whole marketing campaign towards girls or what the point of them really even was, but I guess people liked them until they didn't, until they got a little too annoying and started working out their batteries in the middle of the night. So the next toy, in my opinion, is one of the ugliest dolls I might have ever seen in my entire life, so brace yourself. These ones are called Little Kiddles. They were dolls originally produced by the toy maker Mattel Incorporated in 1965. They were introduced at the 1966 New York Toy Fair, as well as the others, and they were put on the market soon after. Initially, they were only 3 inches tall, and they were tiny by doll standards for the time. In such manners, they actually inspired a lot of other doll companies to make smaller toys just like that, because there were not a lot of smaller ones on the market at the time that were miniature. The sensation that they created in the toy world caused other toy companies to produce their own tiny dolls all across the nation. However, the first designs of these miniature dolls were straight up horrifying. Take a look. It looked as if you had ripped off a giant doll head from a full-size Barbie or another doll and shoved it onto a child's body. It just did not look right. The heads on these dolls were huge and the bodies were extremely small. I have no idea how they were supposed to resemble children when they literally looked and appeared to be wearing an adult-like head smashed atop of them. Their proportions are just so off and unsettling to stare at. Personally, I would not want to own one of these dolls, not even if I grew up in that generation. I feel like I would have known the proportions would have bothered me. I don't know, they would have. And eventually people started thinking the same thing. They were asking themselves, why is the head on these dolls so big and the body so small? Because they were supposed to resemble children playing in the street. I don't know what their slogan was. Something about the neighborhood children. It doesn't look like a neighborhood child to me. It looks like a full-grown adult body head on a small, tiny body. I don't know. It just doesn't look right. There has been so many weird toys made since then, like for real. Mattel has like lines and lines of toys and dolls and controversial toys. I could just keep talking and talking and talking, but they've also actually released some really good toys. Since all then, they do have some good toys. I just want to put that out there. I really am a fan of the Monster High dolls. I like that they've been putting out dolls with all shapes and bodies and styles and looks and colors. I think that's really great that they've developed since then. You know, everything in life must have a process. But some of the earlier toys in life, no matter what brand they came from, were quite horrifying. The Bugler doll. I don't know if if it's because it's fugly. Not trying to roast the thing already, but I mean, take a look at this thing, okay? Would you want to own one of these? They look like bears. They look like human monstroid aliens. I don't want to know what they look like, but if you look just a little bit closer, you're gonna notice that these dolls are not your average doll, okay? They're built different, as I would say. They have very interesting smiles, but not any sort of smile. Those are human teeth. You heard me correct, yes. These dolls contain real human pieces inside of them. But the one question that I really do be having about these dolls is where do they get the human teeth from? I personally, for one, would not want to know, but here's a little bit of history about these dolls. So Bugler Dolls were actually created in England. They actually tapped into a niche or hidden market for plush dolls that aren't attractive, rather scary and perhaps repulsive to some. However, because of the uniqueness and perhaps because some people see this as created artwork, people did purchase and own these dolls because some people do go for the strange, the unusual, and the creepy looking dolls, and they have a whole shelf of them and collection of ugly, creepy dolls. It strikes me that some people want to own ugly and horrifying toys, but you know what? I'm not gonna judge them. You do you, boo-boo, and if that's what you're into, just keep it far away from me. So, the next horrifying, and when I say horrifying, trust me, I mean horrifying toy we're gonna be talking about today is the Can You Shave the Baby doll. I don't know. Can you shave the baby? And why would you shave the baby? Never in my life have I seen a baby with that much hair, and boy, do I not want to know why. That's the most hairiest baby doll I have ever seen in my life. My biggest concern here is who wanted to buy this toy when it was on the shelves, if it ever was. Would anyone actually buy a hairy baby that their kids can shave? And why would they buy their child a toy that teaches them how to shave at a young age? Like, come on now. It's just horrifying all in all together. I would never own a baby doll like that, and I would hope that no one would buy those for their kids if they really were on the shelves. But if they were, I could imagine they would not last long because I think parents would be a little upset with these. So the next toy we're going to be talking about is called the Antique French Swimming Doll. So, you know, back in the days, in the early days, dolls obviously popped off pretty quick, and a lot of little girls would make paper dolls, or, you know, they would make like their own dolls at home, and then dolls at the shelves, and every girl needed one and wanted one. So doll creators and toy makers would make dolls for every scenario. They'd have the baby dolls. They'd have the ones where you can like style their hair. They'd have ones that teach you how to do math or sports or whatever. They eventually made the French antique swimming dolls. And these ones were waterproof because apparently they wanted them to teach kids how to swim, and they showed them how to swim themselves by going like this. But to be honest, it doesn't really look like it's swimming. It kind of just looks like a demon crawling on the floor, kind of coming out of sleep paralysis, to be honest. In just my opinion, okay? These are horrifying. Come on, do you guys not see how creepy that is? Would you guys want to own one of those? At that point, I wouldn't even want to take the thing with me in the water. I could just learn how to swim on myself. Like, I'm good. I don't need that. I could use a rubber duck or something, but just no, keep that thing away from me. This doll was produced in 1878. Ellie Martin actually patented a mechanical Poppy Nuggies swimming doll, marketed as Miss Ondine. This doll was produced in some form of the early 1900s and also can be found in a variety of sizes and different styles. This example is 15 inches long, which is actually quite large for a doll. That is one very big doll. And has a French Biscay head. Her cork body is supposed to be waterproof so that when she would float in the water, she winds with a key protruding from her stomach. So when they put the key up there, they put it in her stomach and they crank her up, and then she starts swimming away. And hopefully she swims so far away that we never ever see her again. She can swim into the deep blue ocean, and I would be fine with that. So we're going to be talking about cherub dolls. I don't know how to correctly or properly say that. I do apologize, but these ones were very strange to me, and I had to include them in the video because I did not know about these. So these dolls, I believe, acted as angels or protectors. Believe it or not, yes, the thing on the side of the screen was made as an angel or protector. So kids would take these dolls and they would set them on their bedsides, you know, on their side tables, and they were supposed to act as an angel or protector and look over the kids while they sleep at night. Honestly, if that's what you gotta do to stay safe or protected, I think I'm good, okay? I don't want none of that. That thing, you know, it can stay outside. It can stay many miles away from me. I'll just take no protection at that point. I don't know about you guys, but I'm good. Anyways, these things were horrifying, and the factor that they actually made these to sit on the bedsides or, you know, in a form where they would actually wind up and move in an animatronic way horrifies me, okay? No, absolutely not. And even worse, they made very big big giant versions of these things, which you could even put in your front yard, kind of like a garden gnome. You know, they protect the garden. Well, these things protect the yard and keep the bad vibes away, and they're supposed to be angels, okay? But I never seen an angel look like that. You know, maybe angels are supposed to look scary, but I don't know if they're supposed to look that spooky, okay? Let me know. Would you guys want an angel protector like that protecting your garden or house or your bedside? Because I sure would not. Okay, guys, I know we all have heard about this next toy, the Jack in the Box, okay? We have Jack in the Box, the fast food chain, and we have Jack in the Box, the toy. But the stuff that I learned about Jack in the Box toys actually kept me up at night reading this, because I had no clue that this is the origin they came from. So the tea is hot here. Let me just explain here. So basically, we all know Jack in the Box toys can be like bears, they can be clowns, they can be like animals, different things that pop out of the Jack in the Box. But the vintage Jack in the Box toys freak me out a little. Have you guys seen versions like this before? I, for one, have not, and I don't want to ever again. Also, I do want to mention most Jack in the Box toys, when you wind them up, they play the classic like pop goes the weasel, and then it just pops out at you. But some of the very old vintage ones played other songs that were a little weird. Have you guys noticed that in most horror movies that there usually could be like a Jack in the Box out of all toys? It's like either a cursed doll or a Jack in the Box, like it's winding up on its own. There has been a lot of rumors of haunted Jack in the Box toys. Those have been reported pretty often. But have you guys heard about the history of the Jack in the Box and why it was created? This will scare you. Let me tell you guys the tea about this. The first Jack in the Box was made by a German clockmaker known as Claus. Claus built a wooden box with metal edges and a handle that would pop out an animated devil, also known as Jack. It was built as a gift for a local prince's 5th birthday. According to folklore, he once cast the devil into a boot to protect the village of North Martzen. In French, a Jack in the Box is called a Diablo en botte. I don't know if I said that right, but it basically means devil in a box. I had no clue that the original origin of these things was that it was a confined devil in a box. That is so freaking creepy! Ew, I do not like that. And it's kind of scary knowing that that was the original origin, the idea behind the Jack in the Box. So now I can't see these things the same anymore, okay? They actually creep me out, and I'm glad that I never had a Jack in the Box phase growing up as a kid, even if it was a cute one, okay? They're just kind of weird. Alright, so the next one we're going to be talking about might be one that you guys might have not grown up with. I can say I was young enough, well at the time, and old enough now, to have owned these as a kid. It's called the magical jumping beans. So as a kid, sometimes I remember my mom, as a joke, she would like come home, she's like, I got you magical beans, look, they jump, and you'd pour them on the table and these little beans would jump up and down, right? So harmless, so magical. I never understood as a kid how beans could jump, right? My mom never told me, my family never told me, until I found out what's really inside of the bean, okay? I hope you guys never played with these. If you guys don't like bugs, disclaimer, this is about to get bad. What's inside is not so magical. Inside of these magical beans, a tiny moth larva makes the jumping bean jump. In the spring, when the shrub is flowering, moths lay their eggs on a shrub's hanging seed pod. As the larvae inside curl up and uncurl, they hit against the capsule's wall of the bean with their heads, and the bean jumps. That is a whole entire worm moth larva thing. Ew, I hate bugs so much. Now I will never ever be playing with another jumping magical bean in my life ever again, okay? Robo. So this toy comes off already a little bit strange looking, and when I tell you guys what it does, you guys are gonna be shocked. So this fuzzy robotic playmate was originally designed to give children an emotional boost. Based on the whole concept of Robo was a toy that kids can hug and get some kind of like form of interaction with. This shows love and care back to the child, but why couldn't kids get that from their families, from their friends, like real social interaction, which leaves some people a little bit questionable about Robo. This robot has a fully acuted head that actually has real facial expressions, and a remarkable feature is Robo's moving trunk and soft huggable jacket. This robot was actually funded by Bill Gates, which is already sus enough for me. The whole point of Robo was that he was developed by a research platform to study cognitive human-robot interaction with special focus on children. So I just think it's kind of weird they had to develop a robot that makes children feel some sort of like connection to something that's not a human. I don't know how to feel about it. It honestly looks terrifying. If I was a child, I would personally not want to go up to Robo and hug him. That'd be like the last thing I want to do. Let me know in the comments. Would you guys hug Robo? I personally don't want to hug a weird green looking, elephant looking I don't know what it is, but it scares me. If you think that Probo is weird, I found a lot weirder. The next one we're gonna be talking about is a teddy bear that is also known to have a robotic communication with the kids that play with it. This bear is called Fujitsu. I apologize if I said that wrong. I don't know how to pronounce that. I cannot really personally tell if this bear comes off as extremely creepy or cute. I'm leaning towards more of the creepy side. This talking teddy bear is pre-programmed with 300 different physical and audio reactions to it. Yes, you heard me. 300. That is a very complex teddy bear. It even has a camera in its nose to recognize facial expressions, and I'm sure just saying that might have triggered the concerns of this toy.
An internal tilt sensor, a microphone, and a camera that's mounted in the bear's nose.
And trust me, parents were concerned. This toy brought a lot of concern, just like any other toy that would have a webcam in it would bring concern. It can wave back at you and blinks like a real-life figure. However, Fujitsu robotic teddy bear was not only developed for kids, which is the even crazier part to this. This teddy bear was also developed, hear me out when I say this, it was also developed for senior citizens who were lonely at senior retirement centers.
This robot, on show at a company event in Tokyo this week, is designed to motivate children and stimulate the minds of the elderly.
That is just so sad that we as a Earth have gotten to the point where instead of real human interaction, let's just make toys and robots give people and kids and children the human interaction that we as humans are supposed to have. Like, it's really cold out there right now. But if you thought that was concerning, let me spill the tea about Poopsie, the slime pooping unicorn. This one had me real concerned, girl, like real concerned. So Poopsie the slime unicorn was a toy that's actually kind of new. It's not super old. The whole point of this unicorn was that you give Poopsie the unicorn a magical food packet, and basically Poopsie has to, you know, use the potty. Poopsie has a belly button, a heart-shaped belly button, and then you put the unicorn on the toilet and it poops out slime that you then play with.
Poopsie surprise unicorns really poop unicorn slime. As long as your unicorn's belly button is popped out, nothing can come out of her.
I don't know who thought that was a good idea for a toy. Not only is it disturbing and looks like a mid-crisis Claire's teenage unicorn mixed with a human, but it's scary in the first place. I wouldn't want that as a kid, personally. I'm not trying to judge y'all if y'all like that. Girl, do you. I'm just saying for me personally, I don't understand what's going on with kids' toys these days. That is actually terrifying. Let's just keep slime out of unicorn booties. But for now, let's talk about the next toy. So this next one really creeps me out. It's called Teddy Ruxpin.
I failed again.
Hi there, my name is Teddy Ruxpin.
And if you guys haven't heard about it, I wouldn't be super shocked because I hadn't heard about it until recently. Teddy Ruxpin is an animatronic children's toy in the form of a bear. The toy's mouth and eyes move while he reenacts stories played on an audio tape cassette deck built into the bear's back. So it might come off all cute and fluffy and cuddly, but there's some darker twists to this bear that a lot of parents were very concerned about. Yet somehow this became the best-selling toy of 1985 and 1986, surprisingly. So a lot of people had this bear. These bears were actually considered to be very similar to Furbies, which I've covered in previous videos. Furbies still really scare me. Some of them have webcams, you know, underneath their skin. They're terrifying. Same with this bear. He looks terrifying without the fur. Teddy Ruxpins are also known to act out in bizarre, terrifying ways, just like their fellow friend Furby. From bears that speak without batteries inserted into them, yes, there's actual stories of this online, where people say their Teddy Ruxpins have spoke with 0 batteries inside of them, which is physically supposed to be impossible, so at that point I just say they're possessed, but still. Also, there's stories of people's Teddy Ruxpins reappearing in unlikely places overnight throughout their house and moving around and falling off shelves, on top of saying things and doing things that Teddy Ruxpin was not programmed or supposed to be able to do.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin.
Honestly, there's a bunch of horror Teddy Ruxpin stories on the internet. Let me know if you guys want me to go further in depth into that into a different video. But the commercials, let alone, scare me enough for this bear, and there was an even updated Teddy Ruxpin that was newer than the original, which also had a commercial.
Lots of stories and songs.
Go to far off place.
Or even more.
Yeah, that one is just as scary. So yeah, the tea on that one is pretty interesting. Next but not least is Skinny Bones. So when you look at Skinny Bones, he almost looks like a twig like plastic figure with a doll's head on top of him, which is a very strange duo for a toy. I don't understand how this one would have worked, and unfortunately it didn't work so well, to the fact that getting your hands on one of these was extremely hard for toy collectors. They actually ended up in a pawn show where somebody saw one of these and like, I need it now.
Walking through the downstairs, and then, holy cow.
Ooh, what's this?
There is the most awesome toy I've ever seen in my life.
That's a neat toy.
Skinny Bones by Marks.
It's so weird, it's so strange, so bizarre. I want it. But to a lot of people, this toy came off as creepy and a little bit unsettling. I mean, look at it. Would you really want to own that? That's why the toy didn't do so good on the shelves of the market, and it ended up flopping, and there's very few that you can even find these days, and toy collectors try to get their hands on them. These bone stick people were kind of similar to Legos, but you could build humans out of them. They were created in the 1970s, and now they are highly sought after because of their creepy appearance. So this next one really caught me off guard. So imagine, right, you're just looking for a USB and you come across a puppy USB and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks so cute. So you get it, right? You plug it in and this starts happening. Yeah, that puppy is just having a little bit too much fun. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, because for children who think it's a dog USB and then plug it in and bring it to school, that could break a lot of chaos, seeing a USB humping dog. Honestly, it is kind of funny. I hate to admit it. It is a little funny, but it's very bizarre and strange. USB toy humping dog. I don't know what they were thinking when they made that. That is concerning. And last but not least, there is a girl named Susan who makes custom dolls, and she used to work at a funeral home, and now she makes creepy, terrifying dolls custom made for people, and the toys she makes for people are terrifying. I've never seen anything like these, and I really hope I never see anything like these again. I mean, she's very skilled at what she does because obviously it's working. The whole point of them was to be scary, but they are a little bit too scary in my opinion. She is an ex-mortician and taxidermist, and she retired from her old job to create creepy sculptures, selling them as one-of-a-kind collectible items. Her work include personalized gifts, toys, and figurines of scary characters. But some of the toys she compiles are honestly the most horrifying things I've ever seen in my life. Like, look at them! Would you guys want to get a custom scary doll from her? I, for one, am going to take a little pass on that. As talented as she might be, it definitely terrifies me. Hugo was a bald, rather creepy looking hollow torso head with stuffed cloth arms. But with the head/torso get-up came an accessory kit which was interchangeable, which could give thousands of different looks for Hugo. The toy was completely interchangeable, and it had creepy accessories like wigs, faces, chins, teeth, eyebrows, mustaches, facial hair, and so much more. The only thing about Hugo was, well, it was not very eye-appealing. This doll was not cute at all because, like I said, it was aimed for boys, but I'm pretty sure that the boys back then even could find Hugo to be just a little bit creepy. I mean, his appearance is not flattering at all, and all the interchangeable features make him even more terrifying. Boys, if you guys are watching this video, I don't know how many boy followers I have, but if you're a boy and you're watching this video right now, comment down below. Does Hugo scare you, or would you have bought a Hugo doll if you were a little boy? I'm actually kind of curious. So the next toy we're going to be talking about are the creepy face banks. If you guys have not seen face banks, I don't know where you've been. I remember seeing these things back in like 2010 or 2011, and it's these creepy looking face banks that I think originated from Japan, and they were supposed to be appealing, but I find them to be terrifying. Basically, it's a coin bank that you put your coins into, and the face eats your money. The face bank has little sensors inside of it, so every time you put money up to it, it will start to chew and then just completely swallow and devour your money and hold it in the back of the face bank. These face banks came in all different colors, styles, patterns, and more, and they somehow were a pretty big hit at the time. I remember a lot of people were buying them and putting them on toy review channels back in the early YouTube days. Comment down below, do you guys find face banks to be cute or creepy? Because I personally find them to be horrifying. I would not want one. I have one of those other banks that kind of has like a cat that comes out of it and it claws the money in, and I find those ones to be way better than the face banks. That's just my opinion. Next toy. The next toy we're going to be talking about are the cymbal clapping monkeys. I've seen these cymbal clapping monkeys in so many old movies like Toy Story and just other old films. They've always been portrayed as kind of like the bad guy, and they've always kind of been known to be kind of creepy. Even like movies like Annabelle have had them. Cymbal monkeys were designed by Daishin CK, a Japanese company manufactured in cymbal banging monkeys from the 1950s through the 1970s. The only thing about these toys is their appearance. They often have a yellow shirt with white and red stripes on it, and they're holding a cymbal in a really creepy position, and their face has never been cute. For most of the cymbal monkeys, they're known to look a little bit creepy, and I'm not so sure why, or if that was the whole goal with them. The vintage ones had a really specific look to them that would give me the heebie-jeebies personally. As a kid, I would have never wanted one of those, just because imagine you wake up in the middle of the night and that thing just starts clapping. Ew, I would hate that so much. Those things look cursed and haunted. I don't know why anyone found them to be cute. Honestly, I don't have a thing against most animals, but I do kind of have a fear of monkeys. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but monkeys kind of scare me. Nothing against them. I don't know, maybe because I watched a weird documentary about them when I was little. These monkeys took stones and threw them at people and ripped off their faces. But yeah, the monkeys with cymbals scare me a lot. Next toy. The next toy we're going to be talking about is called Amazing Amanda.
Start the day with Amanda. That's me.
If you guys have not watched my previous doll videos, there's a toy that reminds me a lot of it, and that's the Kayla doll. They actually had access to talk back to you through Bluetooth. Well, Amazing Amanda can do the same exact thing.
Time for breakfast, Amanda. Surprise me, Mommy. I'll close my eyes. Really, Mommy?
So this doll has Bluetooth enabled, and you could talk to Amazing Amanda and she will talk back to you. Amazing Amanda can actually recognize voices, identify objects, and show emotion. Her face will change to different emotions when she's feeling sad, happy, angry, or lonely. Since her face was pretty robotic, the whole thing could change around all by itself, and when she speaked, her emotion changed as well.
Little two, little three, little toesies.
She also recognized whose voice was talking to her, which I find to be the most scariest part of that doll. Maybe they were watching people through the doll and they had hidden webcams, or something that's deeper and creepy. And it's funny too, because Amazing Amanda has a really soft and innocent appearance to her. She has a pink dress with a blue skirt, pink shoes, and blonde hair. But I mean, something about her face just doesn't sit right with me, and I personally would not want to own a doll that can like recognize voices and changes her face expressions.
I love you more than bunnies.
That's really creepy. Next toy. So the next toy we're going to be talking about are the Kewpie dolls. So Kewpie was a brand of dolls and figurines that were conceived as comic strip characters by cartoonist Rose O'Neil. The illustrated cartoons were appealing as baby Cupid characters. The one thing that bothers me about the Kewpie dolls is not just the look of it, but just the factor that when you get a Kewpie doll, they come completely naked and bare, and they often don't wear outfits. They're known to be pretty vintage, and they're still popular today. I know I've seen them, and personally they just creep me out a lot. Something about their faces just doesn't sit right, but they were super popular. I personally wouldn't want to own a naked bare butt baby, but that's just me, you know? Maybe some people wanted to. The next doll we're going to be talking about is called Little Miss No Name. So she is actually made by Hasbro. The creepiest part about this doll is not just her outfit and really dreary appearance, but the factor that there's a tear on her eye. She almost looks like a literal haunted doll. Her facial features are extremely exaggerated and super curvy, and her eyes look almost like big animal, like cat eyes. The first original versions of these dolls originally were made with pegs for the tear. Little Miss No Name was actually mainly designed for a study in marketing. They tried to make it the impossibly glamorous Barbie. She had such large sad brown eyes, a drooping mouth, and a mop of unkempt blonde hair. The whole idea behind it was people wanted to see if they could market an ugly, scary looking doll and have success with it, unlike a Barbie. However, I think this doll kind of failed big time. Nowadays, these dolls are worth a lot of money though, and they resell on eBay for up to $1,000. However, they're still creepy, and I personally wouldn't want one. The Whammo Water Wiggler.
I'm here, there, everywhere. My water spray makes me squirm and squiggle, so they call me the Whammo Water Wiggle.
Toy is a lot to take in. Let me tell you guys about it. This toy consists of a 7-foot plastic hose attached to an aluminum water jet nozzle, which is covered by a bell-shaped plastic head. The toy is designed to be attached to a garden hose for water fun. It approximately retailed for $3.50. It looked like it was an innocent toy, but when somebody turned the hose on full blast, Whammo Water Wiggler turned into a semi-lethal weapon. It danced and bobbed erratically and wrapped around you like a boa constrictor. constrictor, and if wrapped around you strong enough, if the water pressure was high enough, it could literally choke and kill you. Yes, I'm not even being dramatic. This thing would like spin around the air, it would whip around really crazy, it could smash into your head or face, cause extreme damage to the people around it. Like, I don't know who thought that was a good idea, especially in the commercial. You can see it's like wrapping around the girl, like almost choking her. Like, what? Who thought that was a good idea?
I'll charm you and also your big sister.
I just love my wiggle.
Everybody loves the wiggle.
Whammo stated that there was a recall due to the death of a 4-year-old boy in March of 1978. The youngster was playing with his Whammo and some other children in his backyard when the water wiggler from which one of the bell-shaped head had been removed had come off. The exposed aluminum nozzle became lodged in his mouth and he ended up drowning to death due to the water wiggler. Like, that is horrible and so sad and so messed up. I just don't understand though how people thought that was a good invention. Water wiggler was also involved in a similar death of a 3-year-old boy in 1975. Parents are advised not to allow their children to play with this product outside, especially alone. The Whammo Water Wiggler requests its retailers to remove the water wigglers from their shelves at all stores because they were getting so dangerous and so many kids were almost getting choked to death and being unsupervised by their parents and having a lot of accidents while playing with this toy. So in conclusion, these were a horrible bad idea and they just did not go well at all and they were cringy. So those toys are scary. I do not want a Whammo water wiggler in my house.
Water wiggles!
No thank you. So the next messed up dangerous toy, guys, is creepy crawlers.
Behold my most horrifying creation. Squeeze the colored goop into the mold.
So I actually remember seeing commercials. I don't think they were the original commercials, but I feel like they were still going when I was a kid of these exact toys. Basically, creepy crawlers were a remake of the Easy Bake Oven, except for these ones were specifically targeted to boys. Like the packaging on these toys always showed young boys, never showed girls for the most of it, at least the old version. And they were always like smiling and making some weird bugs, frogs, or something gross with their oven toy. They look really innocent, obviously like they were making fun candy. They were just like gummy worm candies, but there was a really dark, messed up twist to this toy that a lot of people did not know about. The problem with the toy was that the oven got extremely hot and the liquid plastic was quite toxic. The burns would be so bad that the chemical gel, plastic goop, used for the original crawlers also gave off toxic fumes. A revival in 1978 with new, safer formulas and plastic, not metal, molds didn't do as well because kids craved danger. That is just so bad that that happened to the kids who played with the toys. Luckily, I don't think any kids were killed or anything super bad ended up happening, but it was definitely concerning to the parents at the time whose kids had those toys, and they were recalled obviously off the shelves and kids ended up not getting them as often. I do feel like I had seen them for a little while too though, like a remake of it like I said, and then they were pulled off the shelves as well, so I don't really know what happened there, but all in general, that was a really big flop of a toy and it was just kind of a weird concept. The next toy we're talking about is the Swing Wing. I'm sure you guys haven't heard of this because it is kind of an ancient, older toy.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing.
Something that I hadn't even heard about until the other day when I was doing research, but this toy is problematic. She is in some drama, okay? Let me tell you why. So the Swing Wing was actually a swing hula hoop for your head. Basically, the whole objective was that you put the swing wing on your head and you move your head around and the swing wing flies around and you're cool, you're trendy, you're hip, you're fitting in with the kids back in those days, and it was the trendy thing. Everybody had one and wanted one. The reason these were pulled from the shelf was that the toy featured a shooting ball, which led to the choking of a 4-year-old boy in 1978. It actually claimed the lives of dozens of children before the FBI shut down the production of the swing wing in the factory at Dublin, Ohio, and burned all the evidence that they ever existed except for the swing wing toy commercial. And not only that, but the swing wing was giving a lot of kids spinal injuries because of the way that they were moving their heads around so aggressively. When they did it so much, it caused a lot of nerve damage in the back of their necks and their spinal cords. And just everything about this, you know, having the ball that swing around at the top was just not safe. A lot of things ended up going wrong with the swing wing, and the commercial is just enough to prove that. The way they showed the kids upside down in a tree tree using a swing wing. It was bad, and the music to this commercial was also very bad as well. And people in the comments also noticed this from like 7 years ago under this YouTube video of the commercial. People were commenting like, who thought this was a good idea? Or, wow, this would be really great if you threw like heavy metal music over it. Like, imagine. Honestly, terrible idea. I don't know what they were thinking, but Swing Wing was an epic fail to say the least. So the next dangerous toy we're going to be talking about is called the 6 Finger.
A 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, a 6. 6! Surprise! It's 6 Finger!
A toy where, I don't know if you guys have ever just not wanted 5 fingers, but add a 6th finger? Yeah, apparently that was a thing. That's the whole concept, like having 6 fingers except for the 1 finger that you add is magical and has some sort of magical powers or something, but they were not good ones. So 6 Finger actually doubled as a toy gun. Not only that, but it had like features where they could shoot bombs out of their hand. So kids would use this to like pretend to shoot other kids, because they could have a fake gun finger, use it to shoot and launch things at other kids.
Fires cap-loaded bombs and they explode.
And it looks like a finger, and how will they know?
6 fingers, 6 fingers, 6 fingers!
And just do all sorts of things with the 6 Finger. I mean, the commercial should speak for itself. It was not a good idea. Not only was it just kind of downright stupid, but it also promoted violence, which a lot of parents got mad about the commercial of the 6 Finger when they saw that, you know, kids were using it as like a finger gun, or they were using it to like shoot things out of their fingers. Like, they were just kind of concerned that this was on the market. So eventually the 6 Fingers were pulled from the shelves, and they were not good, okay? They were just bad. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about a Barbie called Barbie and Tanner. So Barbie and Tanner was a very innocent doll that was created for little kids who loved dogs and Barbies. No, I'm just kidding. I never liked Barbies as a kid, but I did love dogs. Anyways, Barbie and Tanner was a doll where Barbie goes around with her golden retriever Tanner, and her dog would poop, and she would pick it up with a little poop scooper that it came with. But the bad part about this was that there was magnets inside of the poop in this Barbie doll that if swallowed when you were a young child, like a toddler or an infant, it could cause internal blockages that would require immediate surgery and even death. So these things were obviously pulled off the shelves extremely fast, and it was a huge fail. The commercial was pretty cute though. I mean, look at it. It was adorable. Obviously, Barbie was just walking with her dog, so it seemed like a really innocent, fun toy, but ended up being deadly and dangerous. There was this one specific Cabbage Patch doll that actually had a lot of kids terrified. These dolls were able to chew, and they had a very powerful jaw on their mouth, and they ended up getting recalled really fast because kids would get their hair stuck in the mouth of these dolls, and the dolls would keep chewing and chewing and like pull their hair out. Not only that, some kids have had their fingers pinched and stuck inside of the mouths of these dolls. I don't know how or why, but it has happened. Kids could feed their doll a variety of plastic snacks, which could then be removed from the inside of the doll and reused again. The jaws were extremely powerful, and they'd only stop chewing once they finished eating. So if a child happened to get their fingers or hair near the toy's mouth, they'd struggle to get the doll to stop eating them. In 1997, Mattel pulled the toy and offered a refund to anyone who had purchased one. These dolls were terrifying kids and parents, and obviously were not the safest thing or most practical toy that you guys could get for your kid. I mean, they were terrifying. Look at how they chew, like, ugh, they're so creepy. But yeah, that's the tea about the Cabbage Patch Snack Time doll. I wouldn't want that Snack Time doll snacking on my hair. That would not end well. So the next toy we're going to be talking about is the Rollerblade Barbie. I've actually never heard of this Barbie before, but this is crazy. What happens with these things is insane. As you guys know, Barbie is probably one of the most famous toys in the entire world, but they've made a large collection of different Barbie dolls over time. In the 1991s, there was a Rollerblade Barbie. Rollerblade Barbie was unique for her flashing skates. While her skates flashed with harmless LED lights, they also literally fired out sparks when you rolled them over a flat surface. So these were a very large potential fire hazard for kids because while they were rolling their Barbies on their little roller skates, they were making literal sparks that could catch grass or anything on fire. That was not a smart choice for Mattel to release a literal rollerblade that could spark a fire. These things were recalled so incredibly fast. But yeah, they were recalled, and no one ended up getting these ever again because they were not safe. So the next toy we're talking about is Aqua Dots. I actually had Aqua Dots when I was super little. They were one of my favorite toys, and I remember I was so sad and upset when they were pulled from the shelves, but if I would have known why, maybe I wouldn't have been as sad. Aqua Dots were small arranged beads with water that you would spray and fuse together into different shapes and fun figures. toys. It sounds fun, right? But the problem with these was in 2007, these toys had a coating that released the compound GHB. GHB is a compound that would be used in a drug that people use to do very bad things with, pretty much pass people out. So that was extremely concerning that this was found on Aquadots, a children's toy. After 3 children went to comas after swallowing these small toxic pieces, the Consumer Product Safety Commissions recalled 4.2 million Aquadot kits. Some even caused seizures in children, and some even left children in comas. Several children in the US and Australia were taken to the hospital for urgent care after ingesting a number of these Aquadot beads. So yeah, they might look like they make a really cute design, and trust me, these things were so much fun as a kid, and it's crazy because I think they made like an updated version that's not dangerous or toxic that's on the shelves now, because the other day I swear I saw one that was like called Beatos or some newer version of Aquadots, which was shocking to me. I don't know how they ended up going back in stores, but that is extremely concerning, and now I'm terrified because I had the original Aquadots. So the next doll or dangerous toy we're going to be talking about today is called Sky Dancers. I'm sure you guys have seen these or at least heard of these. I definitely have, because a lot of kids when I was in elementary school would bring these things to school or, you know, recess time, and they would always be playing with these things. I never had one, but I've seen plenty. Sky Dancers were sold in several different colors and styles, including mini Sky Dancers and fairy flyers. The idea was simple. You'd pull a cord to make them spin into the air and they'd gracefully float back down to the earth. Unfortunately, it didn't always work out like that. In their time, Sky Dancers resulted in 100 reports of eye, teeth, and fatal injuries. And some kids even had one of these things fly right into their eyeball, causing them to go blind. It turned out these dolls were susceptible to firing off in random directions, and it was very easy to accidentally launch them into people's faces. The injuries reported and ranged from temporary blindness to painful facial lacerations that required several extensive stitches. After it became clear that the dolls weren't safe, production was halted and had an incredible 9 million of the toys recalled by manufacturers. These things were dangerous. And not only that, I've seen a meme before. I'm gonna see if I can put it on the screen here, but it was a meme of one of these dolls like landing into like the fireplace, catching on fire, and then trying to fly out. These things were not safe and they could cause a lot of problems, but they were kind of fun though, but not safe. So the next toy we're gonna be talking about is Easy Bake Oven. I'm sure you guys have all easily seen these things. I know that when I grew up, I always wanted an Easy Bake Oven, and I would beg my family for one, and they were like, no, those things are a ripoff. And plus we couldn't afford them back then because I grew up pretty broke. But I would always sneak over to my neighbor's house and she had an Easy Bake Oven. So I know she was like a lot older than me. She was probably like maybe 18 and I was like 6. So I'd bother her and be like, yo, can I use your Easy Bake Oven? And she would like let me play with hers, and I would like destroy it and cause chaos in the kitchen. Anyways, these things have a crazy recall story. In May 2006, Hasbro received a huge amount of complaints following the release of Easy Bake Ovens. The toy manufacturer received reports of 29 children getting their hands or fingers stuck in the oven's door. In addition, there were 5 reports of very serious burns. They actually caused 3rd-degree burn, which if you guys didn't know, that's one of the worst kind of burns that you can actually get, and it causes a permanent scar. I actually have a scar. I doubt you guys can see. It's on my arm somewhere, but it's a 3rd-degree burn scar, and I was baking a cake. How coincidental. But yeah, I kind of hid into the oven when I was baking a cake, and I got a big scar there, and it sucked. Yeah, Easy Bake Ovens shouldn't be getting that hot because they're just a children's toy, but apparently they were. To address these problems, Hasbro replaced 2006 model with another model that included a plastic grate over the door. Still, problems persisted. A further 249 reports were logged, and 77 of which concerned burn. Worse still, 16 of these were 2nd or 3rd degree burn. One 5-year-old had to have part of her finger amputated because of the damage of the burn of her Easy Bake Oven. That is so crazy. This little girl literally lost a finger just trying to use an Easy Bake Oven. Like, what? Those things are dangerous. And last but not least, we're gonna be talking about a Burger King Kids Meal toy that caused some mega chaos. And these were actually the Burger King Pokemon Kids Meal toy release. And I'm wondering if I ever had these, because I know at one point they had released some Burger King Pokemon toys, and I remember I was hoarding them. I was trying to go every day. But let me tell you guys about why these were so incredibly dangerous. Burger King began out giving harmless Pokemon ball toy with their kids meals towards the end of 1999. Like a giant Kinder Surprise, the Burger King Pokemon ball would open up and reveal a small plastic Pokemon toy inside. It wasn't the toys themselves which caused the problems. Instead, the issue lay with the balls that concealed the toys. A 4-month-old boy actually suffocated while playing with one of these toys. Very sad, and super concerning that they would release a toy that could literally have a kid suffocate. A 13-month-old girl and a 4-month-old boy both suffocated to death when one half of the plastic balls became suctioned onto their faces and rendered them unable to breathe. Another young girl was almost killed in the same way, but luckily was saved when her father pulled the toy off of her face. This was one of the biggest recalls in history. Burger King ended up recalling 25 million of the Pokeballs. The fast food chain was also sued by the parents of the 13-month-old girl who tragically died, and 2 parties went out to a reach of monetary settlement on the court. That is so incredibly sad. Those kids were probably so happy to get their kids' meal, and then, you know, they were pretty young, so they ended up like playing with the toy, and maybe their parents didn't see it for like a slight second and ended up suffocating, which is crazy. So that is really dangerous. Jill the talking doll. And huge shout out to T4EL3, one of my followers, for suggesting this doll. I actually haven't heard of this doll until today, so thank you for sharing it. So Jill the talking doll was a very lifelike doll. She actually had a lot of emotions that she could show on her face and through the movements that she was programmed with. And the marketing slogan behind Jill the doll was, "I'm a lot like you."
A lot like you.
That was her famous slogan, saying that she's always like whoever buys her because she's so lifelike and human-like and picks up on the characteristics of the doll owner. This doll is extremely interactive. She responds to your answers and changes her story accordingly. But however, she is rather large and quite heavy and a little bit terrifying. She is wearing a striped colorful shirt and she has curly blonde hair that's up in a ponytail, and she can even blink. The lifelike movements that this doll has are terrifying enough, along with the commercial that was made for this doll. Not only is all of that terrifying, but this Jill doll even has a speaker that's built in exactly to the middle of her chest. Like, out of all places on a doll, you know, you'd think you'd have some more options to put a speaker. Like, the kids are just ripping off the doll's clothes and then they just boom, see a speaker in the middle of their doll and they're questioning everything. That was kind of a weird spot to place a speaker. I mean, the back does have a huge battery slot on this doll, so maybe that's why. What's so bad about this doll that it makes it on the creepiest list? Well, let me explain a little bit more. There are so many videos that I found online showing this doll having full-out conversations. Take a look for yourself.
I was reading a magazine the other day, and there was this quiz that said, "You have star quality?"
However, she would have so many conversations over the years of people and kids that would own her that eventually people that own this doll for a year or more were starting to see a lot of glitches and problems with their dolls, and this is where things get a little creepy. Eventually their dolls would start to stutter, or they'd have problems pronouncing certain words, or they would just start sounding monstrous, like growling, low-pitched monsters speaking to the kids playing with them, which is really creepy. This ended up scaring a lot of kids who owned one of these talking Jill dolls, and even creeped out their parents because the parents would hear the dolls saying things like, "Let's have a playtime," and it was just creeping out a lot of people, on top of how lifelike this doll was. Like, it was like having a real human child in your house that understands everything you're saying, but it's a doll. Like, that is horrifying. I don't know why anybody would want this, but I mean, the Jill doll, that's something I definitely wouldn't want, so that is one creepy doll. The next doll that we're going to be talking about is the Edison's talking doll, and huge shout out to my supporter Nat Gomez for this suggestion. The Edison phonograph doll was introduced in the 1890s, and it was a extremely big failure. At 22 inches tall, this doll was extremely large, heavy, expensive, and horrifying to look at. Embedded in each doll's tin torso was a miniature-sized model of Thomas Edison's phonograph. However, the phonograph that they were putting inside of these dolls did not record voice messages very smoothly. Take a look for yourself. Yeah, that clip we just played was what the doll sounds like in real life. It sounds horrible. It sounds like a horror phone call from like a horror movie, or just like, I don't even know, they just sound possessed. And even Edison himself knew that they did not sound good. That's probably why they flopped and failed so hard, because no kids really wanted a doll that sounded like that. However, Edison's talking doll was a huge historic step in the phonograph history, as it was the first phonograph marketed for home entertainment back in the early days. The original price was $10 with a simple build, and $20 to $25 with a full dress outfit on the doll. That was a huge sum of money back in the time that this doll was released, especially for what it looked like. That was equal to about 2 weeks of salary for the average person back in those days, because working, you didn't make much money back then, so that was one very expensive toy to buy for your kids, so only like wealthy people could have done it. So altogether, these dolls were not only creepy and ancient, but one of the first ever made dolls, and one of the scariest, creepiest, most ancient dolls and toys ever made that just did not go well. The next toy we're going to be talking about is the cymbal banging monkey. And I'm sure you guys have all seen these horrifying things. I hate them. Fun fact, really sad fact, I do not like monkeys very much. I don't know why, but monkeys actually kind of scare me. Just a little bit. I mean, I don't know what it is, but they just creep me out, especially the cymbal banging monkeys. Huge shout out to Addison Lynn 07 for this suggestion, by the way. Thank you for suggesting this. A cymbal banging monkey toy, better known as Jolly Chimp, is a mechanical deception of a monkey holding a cymbal in each hand. When activated, it repetitively bangs its cymbals together, and in some cases bops its head, chatters, screeches, grins, pops its eyes out. Literally, the eyes pop out of the head of this thing. Does flips and more. This monkey does a lot of stuff. Of course, it bangs its cymbals. We all know that. That thing would be so annoying. There are both traditional versions and wind-up versions, as well as updated battery-operated cymbal banging monkeys. The Japanese company Daishin CK manufactured the classic cymbal monkey during the 1950s to the 1970s under the name Musical Jolly Chimp. It screeched and showed its teeth when its head was pressed. It had a black on and off lever on its back and came with a green arm tag. But imagine you wake up in the middle of the night just to see your cymbal banging monkey sitting across the room staring at you, just going like this. Have a whole heart attack. And funny thing is, I've seen stories on like Reddit forums of people that claim they've had a haunted cymbal banging monkey that would go off in the middle of the night by itself, and that would freak me out, okay? I just do not like those toys. They're horrifying. The next creepy toy we're going to be talking about is the Baby Alive doll. I'm surprised I haven't gotten to this, but huge shout out to Oop Keisha on Instagram for suggesting this doll. So if you guys don't know what the Baby Alive doll was, well, let me catch you up on this one. I remember seeing commercials about this thing when I was younger, and the commercials are so creepy. The Baby Alive doll was introduced on the shelves in 1973. It could eat packet foods mixed with water that were fed into it from a spoon. It came with a bottle, it dirtied nappies, and one version of the doll even produced vomit. That's really nasty. That's horrifying. A little too realistic if you ask me. Unlike other plastic babies who only have clothes and strollers, Baby Alive simulated the perils of caring for a child by forcing children to cope with its eating and even its urination needs. Or worse, you even had to change this baby's diapers. So basically the whole point of Baby Alive was to teach children how to fend and care for a real human baby with just using a doll as a simulation. And trust me, I did that back in middle school with a fake baby, and that was the worst 24 hours of my life. And I had a bracelet too, so I was like bound to the thing, and my teacher would flunk me if I like got away from the thing within like 3 feet distance. Yeah, those things are not pleasant, and I do not know why the commercials were so freaking creepy for these things. Like, they were terrifying. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about a very, very scary one, and this one is called Carbuncle. I hope I said that right. This was actually recommended by a fan who lives in another country. Huge shout out to Vic's Baby Girl on Twitter. Thank you for recommending this one. This one is scary. I do want to mention this one is not exactly a toy or a doll, but it is a puppet. So let me explain the background of this puppet for you that's on a TV show. In a cave nearby, there lives a carbuncle on an ill-tempered troll-like creature who is illiterate, but desperately wants to learn reading and writing so he can write a story about his species, the carbuncles. They're ugly. One day, Mick, the protagonist, visits Carbuncle's cave and tries to teach him to read. So this was eventually a children's show that was a Dutch series, and a lot of the children who grew up watching the show claimed that it was their greatest trauma from their childhood. And trust me, there is tons of people on Reddit forums, TikTok, all over the internet that claim that this show specifically gave them night terrors, scared them to go to sleep at night, and traumatized them since they were little. To this day, they don't want to watch the show ever again. Yes, it was truly that terrifying. They created all sorts of replicas of the carbuncle puppets, and they were horrifying. Also, I would love to mention how from the clips I've seen of the show, the puppets sound super irritated and cranky in the clips that I've seen. They sort of have an older voice to them, kind of like an elderly voice. I definitely find it unsettling in myself, even just from the images and few clips I've seen. I'm surprised that they even aired a show like this to children, because that show, if I would have seen it when I was younger, it would have just gave me nightmares. So of course we all know Furby. This had to be one of the first ones that we bring up, okay? They're cursed.
In 1998, this popular toy was banned.
It was literally the year I was born.
For an alarming reason. This
it was
owl-like
banned?
toy called a Furby was programmed to utter a made-up language called Furbish.
Oh, they do speak their own language.
Started to speak English as well.
So creepy.
Started to escalate. One of them resulted in ban of Furbies within NSA premises.
Really?
To the rumor, Furbies were possibly foreign spy devices.
That's so creepy that people could spy on people with a Furby. Like, what? They're creepy. Okay, so this girl here has her own AI doll, it says, our daughter is a toy tester, and we are blown away by this new AI-powered doll house. Well, it's not a doll, it's a whole doll house that's AI-powered. And if y'all don't know the new Megan movie, this literally reminds me of the new Megan movie, so take a look.
Oh, hi, what's your name? I love your very beautiful teal dress.
Oh no, it's literally a repeat of Megan in real life. It's literally just a screen. It walks around in the house?
He's walking with one foot like this.
The kid likes it, but I mean, this is gonna turn into a Megan 2.0 situation, you know? She's jumping around all happy now, but not later. It's kind of pure, though. I hate that I have to hate on it because it reminds me of Megan, but it is kind of pure. She's literally jumping around different rooms and stuff. It turned its own TV on? This is ridiculous. What is technology becoming? Are toys not going to be toys anymore? Is everything going to be just like digital? I feel like the future is going to be all digital because kids don't even play with toys anymore. Half of them play with iPads. So this is kind of scary. Okay, so this person has a doll and it's not acting quite right. Take a look. I don't even think it's supposed to be turned on right now. That does not sound right. Ayo? Why is its ears letting? Oh, it moved! It moved! It literally just smiled and the guy like threw it. It was like, oh heck no. Now that ain't no typical doll. He needs to burn it, okay? He needs to burn that thing to the ground. It's cursed. So I recently made an art room, okay? Where is this going to escalate? Okay, they have a Care Bear, and I'm afraid my little brother will come in and mess with things. Why are they cutting their Care Bear's face? So I'm making a bunch of scary toys to scare him out. They're making a cursed Care Bear. Oh my gosh. Now that is actually horrifying. Pretty sure that's gonna, oh, they hung it. Yeah, that's gonna keep the brother out, okay? That would even keep me out. Scared me to shiver. Oh, I think this is one of those like snake game toys. These are scary. I'm not good with like games like this where you don't know, like the suspense of like not knowing when it's going to like lash at you. So they're each grabbing one until the snake bites them. That's actually so creepy. Oh, it's rattling harder. Oh, okay. Yep, I would not be good at that game, all right? That game would actually make me freak out. I hate the suspense of not knowing when something's going to happen. All right, I don't know what this is, but it's some sort of teddy bear, I guess? I don't know. All right. Peekaboo. Oh my! Okay. Yep. Nope. We ain't playing peekaboo no more. That thing can put his face back on where it belongs. I did not need to see all that. Okay, Barbie eats a pizza for the first. Oh, what? That ain't no Barbie.
Never give a giant Barbie pizza.
It's
Barbie
a giant
never
Barbie
had food, and she had a nightmare, and she freaked out.
That's not Barbie.
Now she's looking for more pizza.
That is
she's
so
requested
creepy.
pineapples on her pizza.
I don't like pineapples on my pizza either. I mean, I don't blame her, but geez. If that's a Barbie, I'm not trying to play with her, okay? That's creepy. That literally looked like a giant whore doll puppet. The government does not want this to exist. Oh, Furbies again? Causing chaos to the whole city? Why do Furbies have to be so problematic? Let's take a look.
Come across these, run the other way.
Run
These
the
are not
other way.
toys, and they're definitely not for kids. The government had to ban the toy after several reports of them speaking and even moving on their own.
They're
One person
creepy,
reported
though.
that after several years of locking them away, they heard the Furby scream in the middle of the night.
They heard their Furbies scream in the middle of the night? Well, to be fair, I have had some Furbies go off without the batteries, so maybe there is something going on, alright? I don't know. I need to get to the bottom of this Furby haze, this Furby craze. The Furbies are on the loose and they need to be stopped. Oh, not another one of these. My Barbie! That ain't no Barbie! I don't know what they think, but that's a Barbie right there, okay? See that in the corner of the screen? That's a Barbie. This looks like a mummified puppet, but let's continue the video.
My Barbie is 300 years old, and she's alive.
It's a 300-year-old Barbie. Okay, maybe that makes more sense.
Toys are sleeping and they can awake at any moment. Look at your toys in the eyes and tell me if it blinks.
I'm actually gonna have nightmares tonight. Whatever we just watched, I wish I could unwatch it because I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy that video. Moving along. Okay, so this is another AI-generated robot, I'm pretty sure. Makes me think that the future is going to be all digital toys, and we're not just gonna have typical dolls anymore. Everything's gonna be a robot. So this robot apparently talks to kids too. Let's take a look.
Why do you look sad? I feel a little sad that I don't have any hair. Yours looks awesome.
He's bald.
That was cool.
Why does he move like a penguin? He's like, he's gonna fly away.
Understanding what it means to be human.
It wants to be human, yo?
The next time it happens.
Okay, that was sketchy. Everything was fine until he said,
I want to understand what it means to be human.
Then it wasn't fine anymore. And then he started doing the penguin flaps. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that toy is, but I would not want it, okay? I hope that the children of today go back to the Furbies at this point, all right? And that's saying a lot. Kids' toys that got banned. All right, we need to know.
Toys that got banned, part 3.
Part 3.
Up first is this toy.
Potty time with Elmo.
Called Potty Time with Elmo.
Why is Elmo so problematic?
Kids go to the bathroom, but instead it took a disturbing turn. One of the buttons was supposed to say, "Uh-oh, who has to go?"
Uh-oh, who has to go?
It said, "Uh-oh, who wants to die?" Here is that video.
It does say some phrases, though, that toddlers probably shouldn't be hearing. Here's what Elmo is supposed to say.
Okay, that sounds fine. I actually did hear that. It literally did say, uh-oh, who wants to die? Okay, I don't know if like the makers of this, some of them like, you know, did some of these books incorrectly for their own enjoyment, or if it was like a low battery situation and Elmo all of a sudden started sounding like he said, uh-oh, who wants to die? Instead of, who wants to go to potty. But that's like two very different phrases, so, I don't really have an explanation for that. That's creepy. All right, demonic children's toys.
This is the scariest child's toy. And its story is truly disturbing.
Oh, I think I've seen this one before. The evil stick wand.
Made headlines in 2014 after someone found.
Yeah, that's horrifying. I don't like that.
A demonic figure.
Literally a demon in their magical wand.
Foil. Speculation quickly turned into.
Looks like those dollar store toys.
Led to its ban.
Good, it got banned, okay? That poor kid who wanted to just play with their magical wand had to open it up one day and see that picture inside. They probably never wanted to ever have another toy again, okay? That thing is so creepy. All right, this has to be one of those creepy plushies again, but it looks like a cute little elephant, but let's just take a look. Nope, that's not no cute elephant. Oh, it's just getting worse progressively. They're so ugly, oh my gosh. Wait, the bunny too? Wait, what? What's going on? Wait, the ending, the kid just goes, Mama! Possessed scary toy. It looks like an alpaca. It looks cute. I don't know what could be so bad. They thought it would be a normal toy. It looks normal. Okay. Alright. Whoa, okay, nope, that ain't no normal toy. Alright, yep, that had, I don't even have words for what I just watched. That thing turned into an actual demon, okay? I don't know. Scariest toys of all time.
Scariest toys of all time, part 1. This is Sir Growlzalot.
Sir Growlzalot is kind of adorable, though.
And tons of people have bought him for their kids. But believe it or not, this teddy bear has made hundreds of children cry. Although innocent looking at first, when you give him a hug, this happens.
Oh, I have one of those ones. They're like the angry face ones that you push in and their teeth just submerge. And they're actually kind of adorable in a really creepy way. I like those. I like those ones. Okay, so this last doll here is called Baby's Secret. I've actually done videos about this doll. And heaven knows why somebody woke up and decided to make a doll that whispers in your ear a secret in a really sinister voice, but I guess they thought it was a good idea back in the day. So there's a pull string and this doll whispers secrets, and it's just really unsettling, but take a look.
She is a baby secret.
Yeah, she is a baby secret.
From
Mattel, the creator of Barbie, made this thing. This little demon was made by the Barbie's creator. All right, let's hear her. I want to hear her. It literally just said, I like to sleep with you. Like, what kind of secret are they trying to teach to kids? Like, having their doll whisper in the air, I like to sleep with you. No! Is that it? Is she gonna whisper something else?
I know a secret. Do you?
No, I don't know a secret, and I'm not trying to know one, okay? That would actually horrify the heck out of me. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. Be sure to subscribe to join the family, and smash a like if you guys enjoyed today's video. And I'll see all of you lovely people in the next video. Bye, guys!